Welcome to CounterPunch Radio. I am your program producer, Nathaniel St. Clair, and this is a special episode. Our co-host, Erik Wallenberg, made his way to the DNC last week. Not to go inside and philander with the corporate politicians and the genocide enablers. No, he stayed outside to speak with the people righteously protesting those atrocities. Before we get to that, I want to give you a glance at the paid portion of our website and remind you that becoming a CP Plus member is the best way to support our publication. What you will find there is not bonus content. This isn't fluff. It is first-rate, hard-hitting investigative journalism. For example, this harrowing piece by David D'Amato titled Economic Warfare and the Chokehold of Empire. Here's a snippet. While the United States continues to maintain a global military presence and to fight regional wars, frequently through its proxies, its ruling class has come to recognize that it can accomplish comparable death tolls and strategically useful psychological effects without the need for military combat. Sanctions have thus become a preferred means of exercising U.S. hard power, costing virtually nothing from the standpoint of domestic politics. End quote. That is just one of many cogent articles you will have access to as a member of CP Plus, which is only $5 a month. That is less dough than a single slice of Chicago-style pizza. Anyway, let's get to what you came here for. Erik's experience with the people outside of the DNC.
Can you tell us your name, where you're from, and why you're out here today?
My name is Jennifer. I'm from St. Louis, and today I am marching on behalf of Irish Americans for Palestine.
And what's the connection between Ireland and Palestine as you see it?
Well, Ireland has roots of solidarity with Palestine. When Ireland was mostly occupied by the UK, but gained partial independence, the same oppressors and military were sent to do the same thing to Palestine. So Ireland and the generations of people in Ireland have expressed a lot of solidarity, much more than Irish Americans have. And so now it's time for Irish Americans to catch up and show and demonstrate a lot more solidarity with Palestine as well.
Great, thank you so much.
My name's Monica Garcia, and I am out here because I don't believe in genocide in any form, and I am Jewish, and I was raised with the idea that we always remember and never forget, and that applies to everybody. And I think what's happening is absolutely horrendous, and I want it to stop, not in our name.
My name is Jeremy John, and I'm with Christians for Ceasefire. And we're here because our faith really compels us to stand up for humans across the world, regardless of their race, when they're being killed.
And what does your banner say? For our listeners,
Mennonites for Ceasefire.
Say it again.
Mennonites for Ceasefire. So my kids and I are a part of a Mennonite church here in Chicago, Living Water Community Church. And there are many Christians in Gaza, Palestinian Christians, but that's not why it's important to stand in solidarity with Palestinians. It's important to stand in solidarity with Palestinians because they're humans like us. And if my family were being killed, like if my family were being deprived of our homes, or if Israeli settlers came when I was on vacation and settled in my home and kicked me out, or, you know, if my brother was killed by a machine gun bullet, like, I would be taken to the streets too. And for me, Palestinians are my brothers and sisters.
Well, last week the Biden administration announced another $20 billion in weapons sales. I think that's such a slap in the face to the majority of Democrats who have said they don't want to keep supporting this. And to have Kamala Harris just say nice words but not any policy direction, we need to put the pressure on so that we can at least be some kind of counterweight to the lobby groups, whether it's AIPAC or Christians United for Israel or the weapons industry that makes so much money on these conflicts.
Great, thank you. And what do you think we should do out here? What's the next move?
Oh, I think we should try to be outside all of the hotels, outside of the caucuses, inside if we can, inside, outside, wherever we are. We should be protesting and demanding that they stop the weapons sales to Israel.
So what can we expect from Code Pink this week?
You can expect a lot of inside-outside action.
How y'all doing? Chicago for Abortion Rights is out here today because we refuse to allow the Democrats to use abortion rights and trans rights as a bargaining chip to force us to vote for their imperialist agenda. We refuse the liberal co-optation of the reproductive justice movement so they can tell us to vote blue no matter who. We reject Israel's pinkwashing, and we do not stand with the Zionist so-called feminists who celebrate their equal rights to blockade aid trucks and murder Palestinian families. We remember every single time Democrats promised to protect our right to bodily autonomy and utterly failed us. We know that there is no reproductive justice without Palestinian liberation, and we refuse to let the Democrats separate and divide our struggles. We refuse to vote for genocide. We will not be distracted by the electoral circus of our two-party system funded by corporations and billionaires. Another casualty of this absurd election cycle is our abortion funds, many of whom are losing funding because the wealthy liberal institutions who pledged money after the Democrats allowed Roe to fall have now pulled their money to give to Kamala's campaign, hindering thousands and thousands of Americans from getting the abortion care they need. Shame. We will continue to fund and support our abortion funds, which have been doing all they can to keep abortion accessible after the Democrats abandoned abortion rights on the national stage. And now, when it's too late, Kamala Harris and many other Democrats are making reproductive justice one of the pillars of their campaigns. But empty campaign promises do not provide abortion care to people in states with restrictive abortion bans. Empty campaign promises do not keep clinic doors open. Empty campaign promises do not stop our tax dollars from going to Israel's settler colonial project instead of materially and supporting families here in the U.S. Empty campaign promises do not stop the bombs from falling on thousands of families in Gaza. We don't want empty campaign promises. We want what the majority of Americans want: expanded access to reproductive and gender-affirming health care and support for families, and an end to U.S. arms exports to Israel. And we know that no matter who wins the election, we will show up in the streets day after day to make sure every person has the basic human right to reproductive and gender-affirming health care, and we will mobilize and organize day after day until the U.S. stops sending money and weapons to Israel and Palestine is free. We cannot rely on the Democrats to deliver us our liberation. We will seize it ourselves. Real feminists know that our liberation is bound up with the liberation of all working class people fighting for justice and freedom all around the world, including and especially in Palestine. No one is free until everyone is free. Real power comes not from the politicians, but from the people, and the people say, "Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine!" Thank you.
My name's Ben. This is Molly.
Hi, I'm Molly.
And we're here with Jewish Voice for Peace Chicago.
And why are you all out here today?
Well, we're out here along with thousands of other people, primarily because we believe that every single person, no matter the color of their skin, the place or the circumstances of their birth, deserves to be safe in their homes and in their communities. And right now, our leaders here in the U.S., our corrupt, self-interested politicians, are making safety impossible for 2 million people in Gaza, just to further their own political and financial interests.
For 10 months, we've seen a massive coalition of tens of thousands of people, of millions of people around the world, of people of all races, all religions, all classes, all ages coming together to speak with one voice and demand Palestinian liberation and freedom and safety for Palestinians and for folks everywhere. This is the culmination of all that work and a push at a critical moment in American politics to make our demands for an arms embargo clear and heard from Chicago to DC all the way to Gaza.
Great. And we're out here on the last day of the Democratic National Convention. Could you just say what you think the next steps are for you all?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep mobilizing, educating, engaging, and building community until our demands are met. Those demands are very clear, right? An end to occupation, apartheid, and genocide in Palestine, all three of which are war crimes, and all three of which the ICJ has, declared that Israel has done in Palestine, in occupied Palestinian territories. It's, a moment of moral clarity, and will it be done today? I don't know. Will we keep fighting until it is? Most definitely. The amount of growth we've seen, not just in numbers, but in education, awareness, and power of this movement in the last 10 months is really mind-boggling, and we're not going to stop until Palestine is free, from the river to the sea.
Why is it important for Jews especially to be taking such a stand in this fight?
We have seen charges of anti-Zionism over and over again weaponized to silence Palestinian voices. And so I think it's so important for me as a Jew and as an American Jew, someone who Israeli leaders are claiming to commit genocide in my name, right? Our leaders here in America are funding that genocide. And I'm not here in spite of my Jewish values, but I'm here because of my Jewish values. Growing up Jewish, one of the most powerful things about our tradition to me was the way that we tell and retell the history of our people and connect that to our values in the present day. We use that to inform our fight for justice, for a better world, for equality for all people. And that's what Judaism means to me. And I think it's really sickening to see our stories and our history twisted to support ethnic cleansing and genocide. And so it's really important for us as Jews to say this cannot be done in our name. And never again means never again for anybody.
And if I could add to that, the ideology of the Israeli government, the Israeli apartheid government, is not just of Zionism, it is of specifically Jewish supremacy. And the kind of racial hierarchies and religious hierarchies and social hierarchies that enable ethnic cleansing, apartheid, war crimes, genocide, starvation, disease, and epidemic, right? And so it is uniquely important for us to not just name that what they're doing is wrong, it is corrupt, it is, in the means of their own personal interests, but that they are doing it through a lens of Jewish supremacy that is not just unsustainable, but goes against the freedom of all people by placing one group above all others.
I'm Kate. I'm from St. Louis. I'm out here because I'm tired of watching a genocide on my phone screen happen in live time and constantly see propaganda, distributed to brainwash people into thinking that we need these police, we need these protections, we need these wars somehow to save us, and we don't. We need each other, we need love, we need compassion, we need to build community. And so I'm out here because I believe that there is room for a better world, and I believe that comes with collective liberation. So I'm here to tell the DNC to go fuck themselves, and really the whole two-party system, because solidarity is built, and freedom, liberation, it's all built with community. It's built by us, by the people. It's not built by the wealthy 1%, the people in charge, the people that tell us what we can and can't do. Laws are made up by people, and we can remake them.
And who are you out here with today?
I'm technically unaffiliated, but I like to sing, so I'm with a Chicago group called Songs for Liberation, but I'm from St. Louis, so I'm not,
Cool. We're just wanting to hear who's in the background.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the Songs for Liberation choir here in Chicago. They're amazing. And just grateful that they were so kind to host a couple St. Louisans for the week to sing along with them, because music, joy, and love.
It takes a can of suffers. There's one thing I know. The border walls and prison industry. I've got to go. You gotta lose. You fascist gotta lose. I said, oh, you fascists gotta lose. Only for the truth. Oh, you fascists gotta lose. Yeehaw! Oh, you fascists gotta lose.
We've been hated for 400 years and taught the world so much about love. We've been terrorized for 400 years and taught the world so much about freedom for everybody. We've been traumatized for 400 years and taught the world so much about wounded healing. That's the best of Black America. That's Frederick Douglass. That's Ida B. Wells. That's Harriet Tubman. That's Martin Luther King Jr. That's Malcolm X. That's Curtis Mayfield. That's Luther Vandross. That's Nina Simone. And it's precisely this moral power, this spiritual power, that allows us to straighten our backs up and say no to genocide. A Democratic Party, shame on you. You're accommodating yourself to empire. Shame on you. You're accommodating yourself to organized greed. Shame on you. You're weaponizing hatred. And then people have the nerve to say, we are the haters. We have a love for our Palestinians, and we have a love for oppressed people wherever they are around the world. But at the moment, it's about Gaza. Just like it's about mass incarceration, it's about the hoods and the barrios and the poor communities. But I want to end on this note, because I just left this magnificent press conference for the abandoned Harris people. Because there's a lot of folk getting excited about Sister Harris because she's a black sister from Jamaica and from India. And we simply want to say a black face in a high place in the same empire, the same predatory capitalist processes, the same policies of genocide do not move us. It's not a function of your skin pigmentation. It's not a function of your gender. It's not a function of your sexual orientation. What kind of moral substance do you have? What kind of ethical content do you have? What kind of political consequences for those in my black church tradition from the 25th chapter of Matthew? What you do unto the least of these, you do unto me. That's true for our precious Jews, precious Muslims, precious Christians like myself, secular brothers and sisters, atheistic, agnostic. What kind of human being are you choosing to be in your short trek from your mama's womb to tomb? That's why we stand here with our Palestinian brothers and sisters. Shame on the Democratic Party.
My name is Lena. I'm with SJP, I guess. I'm just here protesting the DNC. Tell the Democratic Party to stop sending aid to Israel. And that's it.
Yeah, my name is Misael Rodriguez. I am here because I am observing the politics ongoing, and it seems to me that this conversation about Israeli taking billions and billions and billions from the U.S. taxpayers is unofficial business because we never got to vote in that process. We are here grieving for Palestinian brothers and sisters, babies and grandmas and grandpas, and the men. And it seems to me that the government thinks that it's almost working their hoax to destroy a whole civilization under the name of capitalism. So we are grieving for them, but we're here in strength and support. They have demonstrated a lot of courage showing up here in the face of adversity and against the odds. So we are here inspired by them to sit down and talk about a good old American revolution where the people come together and not fake the funk, nor divide each other on the basis of their identity politics, but as a common cause of humanity. We're not here to serve the rich. We're not here to cater to poor people's problems. We're here to cater to humanity's problems. And that could be ranging from environmental factors, economical issues, health issues, etc., etc., etc.
And are you out here with an organization?
No, I am just here by myself. And I just find the whoever has the same slogan as I do, I just stick by them, so we look like a gang.
Can you tell us what your flag says and what that means to you?
This flag represents the land back to the original people, but most importantly, the culture where that stems from is actually observing that, hey, we could all get along together. Let's just make this right for the earth and for the people of the earth.
Well, I was here in 1968. I was arrested and I stood a 6-week trial for demonstrating in 1968 against the Vietnam War and against police brutality and for civil rights.
Great. And do you feel like this year now you need to be out here for the same reasons, or why are you out here now?
Well, in 1968, the U.S. was involved in a war, and here in 2024, we're also involved in a war. Our own soldiers are not fighting, but the U.S. is still up to its neck, and we're just trying to stop it.
Great. And were you part of the uncommitted vote in Michigan?
No, that's for Democrats. I'm going to support Jill Stein, the Green Party candidate.
Great, thanks. And what are you hoping to accomplish out here today?
Well, just to stop funding Israel with arms and to allow Palestinians to return to their homes and homeland from which they were expelled in 1948 and 67.
My name is Guy Miller. I'm from Chicago. In fact, I was born about 2 miles away from here.
And what are you doing out here today, Guy?
Well, I'm out here as part of my political orientation, which has been to oppose oppression and exploitation wherever I see it. That might sound a little high and mighty, but that's it.
Yeah, and tell us about who you're with right now and what your sign says.
Well, I'm pretty much an independent radical at this stage, but I'm proud to be carrying this labor involvement in the Palestinian struggle.
Great, thanks. And you were out here in '68, is that right? Can you tell us about that?
Okay, see, I was maybe 8 months out of the army. I was already radicalized. I was there for the whole spiel from the beginning in Lincoln Park till the last day. Practically lived on the street. I could give you a couple of the high points. While we were still in Lincoln Park, we got chased out of the park on a Sunday before the convention, and we were running down North Avenue, and there were dozens, hundreds of people kind of running all around, and suddenly out of nowhere we were chanting, "Hey, hey, Viva Che," and suddenly out of nowhere came 2 young black men, teenagers, and threw Molotov cocktails through this storefront jewel, which don't exist anymore. So suddenly it was chaos. There was tear gas, there was bayonets, there was lots of cops on the street, and a couple took 4 of us in, said, "Come to our house, stay at our place to get out of the danger." And it was kind of like something out of a Second World War movie or something. And we stayed there for about 5 hours. And that was one adventure. Another was I was able to sell a radical newspaper to Allen Ginsberg, which was a feather in my cap. He was sitting in the Lincoln Hotel with William S. Burroughs and Jean Genet. And my woman friend at the time said, look, there's Allen Ginsberg. Why don't you sell him a militant? And I went in and he said, oh, yes, I'm very familiar with this paper. I was in Grant Park 2 nights. One night when nothing much happened, and another night when the police attacked. But it was the night when not much happened that we all marched out of there and got attacked by the police in front of the Conrad Hilton. I didn't want to get arrested because I had been arrested a few months earlier, and I was still facing 2 charges from during the King demonstrations, because King was killed in April of that year. So I was trying to avoid danger, and while I was running away, I got clubbed in the shoulder by a cop, and I took refuge in a bar somewhere on Michigan Avenue. So that was another adventure. And then I was there to, when Dick Gregory tried to mobilize people, he said, we can't go to the amphitheater, but we can go to my house. It's in the same direction, though. And as we marched down Wabash, suddenly there were 3 or 4 Jeeps with barbed wire in front and tear gas and bayonets. And once again, we were dispersed. So those are some of the memories. I would say one difference is the police were much more primed for violence than they are here. Not that I trust them, but they don't seem to be as much on edge as they were in 1968. They're not spoiling for a fight. And I think that's just the difference between the Daley era and this era. You know, Daley was very protective of the Democratic Party. He saw it as his fiefdom, and he didn't want anything to spoil his convention.
What do you think the next steps are for us out here around Palestine?
I think we need to find more centralized organization. I think that many of the Palestinian leaders are doing a good job, but it could always be better. And I think, what else can I say? I'm just a spear carrier. I don't know, but it's encouraging, especially to see among young people how much opinions of Israel have changed over the last 20 years. 20 years ago, I think the JDL would have been out in force, outnumbered Palestinian protesters. I haven't seen hide or hair of them in the last 10 months, so it's a different vibe.
Well, we'll have to talk more next time, Guy.
Sure, my name is Arti Walker Petakotla, and we are with About Face Veterans Against the War. It's a national anti-war veteran group. We have chapters all throughout the country. I'm on the board of About Face, and we are all veterans who have served in our country's military, who are anti-imperialist, anti-military industrial complex. And we have been organizing since, obviously October 7th and beyond. Before that, we've had veterans go to Palestine before October 7th to an end to the apartheid state, an end to U.S. military aid to Israel, and an end to the genocide. Several of us have gotten arrested in D.C. at actions before this. And so we always try and show up and support however we can, because oftentimes military voices, like you saw on the Democratic National Convention stage, military voices are used to legitimize policies that inherently are harmful to Black and brown people, both here and overseas, and working class people as well. And so we try and disrupt that narrative.
Great, thanks. And what are you hoping to accomplish here and in the coming months?
Well, number one, the demand is really simple: end U.S. military aid to Israel. That is the demand. It is not that hard of a demand, because we keep on sending billions and billions of dollars of weapons. So the fact of the matter is, that is a very clear demand. This administration has not done everything it can to actually demand a ceasefire. As Representative Omar said, if you want to end to the ceasefire, stop sending weapons. So that's our first demand. The second is to abolish the military-industrial complex, or as we have a campaign called Drop the Mic, because the military-industrial complex is responsible for it's the largest polluter in the world, it's the largest greenhouse gas emitter in the world, it is in service of U.S. imperialism, and so that's really what we focus on as a group.
Great, thanks. Anything else you want to share with our listeners?
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Would you be at all interested in saying anything?
I can. I'm not a veteran, but I'm married to one, so RT's
well, that's great. We're also just excited to hear from people why they're out here, even if you just want to take a minute to tell us why you're here today.
Sure, yeah, if you want to.
What's your name?
Allison Boyaris.
Great, and why are you out here today?
I'm out here because what the U.S. and Israel are doing to Palestine is not keeping anyone safer, and it's disgusting, and it's got to stop.
Yeah, and can you tell us who you're out here with today?
I'm out here with About Face Veterans Against the War. My husband's a veteran, and, veterans know better than anyone else how much destruction the U.S. military is capable of. So I think it's important to listen to them.
Great. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
How long